Balatonfüred, Hungary, July 7, 2025.
Geci, hogy szétveri a kocsikat.
On Monday, July 7, one of the strongest storms in recent years hit Hungary, causing immense destructions in many parts of the country. According to HungaroMet data, hurricane-force wind gusts of 130 km per hour were recorded in the eastern basin of Lake Balaton near Balatonfüred and in some places nationwide, 137 km per hour. 2,200 firefighting operations were required across the country by early evening. Most of the damage occurred in Bács-Kiskun, Békés, Csongrád-Csanád, Hajdú-Bihar, Pest and Veszprém counties, as well as in Budapest. Firefighters primarily removed trees that had fallen onto roads, buildings, cars, and rails. Damage control work was ongoing at hundreds of locations even into the evening. In Budapest, a tree fell on a transformer stations in the northern parts of Margaret Islands, while the roof of the National Association Library was thrown off over 100 square meters by the wind.
Megyek valahova, és akkor most menjünk vissza Újvárosba, gondolj bele, a kakó kapott engem egy ilyen hallod.
In Csongrád-Csanád, around 400 emergency calls were received, mainly from the Hajdú-Bihar and Szeged areas. Fallen trees and broken branches disrupted traffic in several places in Szeged. Significant damage was also caused in Bihar County. A tree fell on the railway tracks in Sixford, tearing off the overhead wire, while the wind tore off roofs in Adoni and Kazarhagyi. A stubble fire broke out on the M7 motorway between Csongrád-Csanád and Sixford after a broken high-voltage wire caused a fire and the tensioning wire cable fell onto the roadway. In Somogy County, mainly around parks and Kaposver, fallen trees had to be removed from the road. On the outskirts of Inki, a car crashed into a tree, while a walnut tree damaged a greenhouse. A broken tree branch also posed a danger in a nursery. In Bács-Kiskun, 250 emergency calls were received. Kiskun Velencsihéza, Gerigejihéza, and Lajosmice were the most affected. In Tompa, Kluksa, and Solcsantimre, the wind tore off roofs. Roads were blocked by fallen trees, and power lines were snapped. In Zabolsk-Shedmar-Barak County, 280 reports were received by the evening. In Uchfehértu, a chimney of a family house fell down. Trees blocked main roads near Vásárosmeni and Shenger. In Nyíregyháza, trees fell onto the roads in several locations, and there were power outages. There have been few thunderstorms at Lake Balaton so far this year, but this gap has now been filled by the thunderstorm chain that has formed along the Slovenian instability line. The storm cells crossing Lake Balaton from the southwest to east produce winds above 100 km per hour at several points, 85 km per hour at Keshetli, 106 km per hour at Siglijet, 100 km per hour at Balatonfüred, and 130 km per hour at Balatonfüred. The storm also severely damaged the electricity supply network. There were outages on medium voltage lines in 150 locations. Reinforced restoration units have so far restored power to 64,000 households. In Budapest, for example, the entire electricity supply to the settlement was cut off after a tree fell on a 22 kV main line, and repairs were delayed until Tuesday morning. After visiting the MEF Disaster and Railway Operations Control Center, Minister of Constructions and Transport Janusz Lazar announced that the storm caused serious disruptions to public transport. He estimated that between 800,000 and 1 million people were affected by the events. The storm caused problems on almost all main railway lines, significantly paralyzing the country's transport infrastructure. The severe thunderstorms on Monday afternoon caused serious disruptions not only to public roads and the railway network, but also to air traffic. At Lake Balaton International Airport, debris fell on the runways as a result of the storm, which led to their temporary closures for safety reasons. It is so rare that even the most professional lifeguard announced with relief on a stormy afternoon that we are alive. The units of the Hungarian lifeguard service once again stood their ground on the Lake Balaton, rescuing people in distress from the biggest storm. Everyone made it to shore alive. The units of the Hungarian Lifeguard Service also used their full strength to save those who could be saved in a storm at Lake Balaton. The storm that hit Lake Balaton during the day early in the afternoon on Monday left enormous damage in its wake. The weather also showed its destructive power in Shopak and Alsors. They warned that the cold front would hit hard after the heat wave. But this exceeded all imaginations. An apocalyptic sight which was captured today by those living at Lake Balaton and those vacationing here.